and welcome to Literary Bites, a podcast of short stories with deep feelings, written and presented by me, Cassie Hamer. Today's story is The 30th Anniversary. This is a marriage story, a tale of a woman who discovers her husband's infidelity in the week before they are to host a big party to celebrate their 3 decades of wedded bliss, a bliss that is proven to be a sham. The story was awarded second place in the Writers' Studio competition, which was held to celebrate their 30 years in business as a creative writing school. I rarely write stories to a theme or a prompt, but in this case, I took the competition theme of 30 years and turned it into what I knew of long-term relationships. The story also draws much inspiration from jazz music, an interest that initially binds the couple together, but then ultimately breaks them apart. There's a specific reference to Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit, an incredibly powerful and haunting song drawn from a poem protesting the grotesque lynchings of African Americans in the country's South. If you don't know the song, I highly recommend having a listen. It was deemed so controversial at the time that Holiday was singing it that her label, Columbia Records, refused to let her record it, and Holiday had to get a release to produce it with a smaller independent label. Such a brave song of protest for Holiday to sing in 1940s America when the civil rights movement was barely in its infancy. And it was a song that went on to be the biggest selling of her career and regained prominence during the Black Lives Matter movement of the 2020s, which is when it came across my radar. Incredibly inspiring stuff, and in a small way, the 30th Anniversary is about another woman finding her own voice in a marriage. It probably won't escape you as well that there is a double entendre at work with the title Strange Fruit and its possible sexual overtones. Just a note that this story has adult themes and is not one for the kids. I hope you enjoy it. The 30th Anniversary by Cassie Hamer. 7 days out from the party. Winnie replaces the lid on the cardboard shoebox. Her heart taps staccato in her chest. Her breathing is ragtime. Her thoughts are too syncopated to be corralled into a discernible rhythm. Damn her fossicking. Damn this awful downsizing. Damn the attic and its stupid ladder that her husband can no longer manage. Damn the cancer that has made the 15-rung climb impossible for him. And damn his stupid size 14 clodhoppers with their EE width that confirms this shoebox can only be his. And damn the contents of this crappy, disintegrating cardboard container which, according to the peeling label, once held a pair of white Reebok Club C sneakers, but now contains enough fuel to blow up her marriage. Winnie! Win! The gravel of George's voice filters up the ladder. Ready for a cuppa? We've got time before the concert. Does Winnie remember how to speak? She places a hand to her throat, fingers splayed. If she squeezes, she could choke. Just a minute. Everything all right up there? Can he know what she's found? No, of course not. She's up here to get the wedding album. Their daughter Janie needs photos for the digital collage that'll be screened at the party. Damn Janie. No, strike that. Her eldest child is only trying to do something nice for them, and finding the album had been an easy task for Winnie. It had sat on a shelf with all the other albums that chronicled the marriage, from babies to kindy concerts, school graduations to family holidays. The rest of the attic, however, was a disaster zone. Packing boxes she couldn't remember, boxes on top of boxes. May as well get a little sorting done while I'm here, was her thinking. She'd started with the toughest to reach, the one in the back corner behind the Christmas decorations and assorted long unused sporting equipment, a box she was never supposed to open. Now her fingers are wet from the wiping of tears. The ink on the letters has smudged and the cardboard box is softening in her hands. Win, are you coming or not? She flinches, blinks through the vinegar in her eyes, and returns the shoebox to its hiding place. Put the kettle on, I'm coming. Tickets to the jazz concert were George's gift for their pearl anniversary of 30 years. But sitting under the concrete eggshells of the Sydney Opera House, Winnie cannot focus. Her mind is a blast of thoughts, louder than the brass of the big band on stage. The lights gleam off the famous lead trumpeter's bald head. He had hair when we were first dating, thinks Win. In smoky basement dives of the late 80s, the Scuddy Improv had fused the eager young travel agents with its energy, its unpredictability. Wouldn't you love to play with that, George would say, to get inside the music? The passionate yearning of the then 28-year-old George had been as intoxicating to her as his good looks, his innate decency, his kindness. Neither of them played an instrument, and both were too busy trying to make it in the world of corporate travel to do anything as indulgent as learn the saxophone. Like her, George was passionate and exciting, but also ambitious and sensible. Perfect. At the Opera House, the middle-aged woman next to Winnie wears a surgical face mask and a cross expression every time Winnie clears her throat. They're too old now and too wealthy for smoky basements and sticky floors, and yet on the other side of her, George leans towards the stage, eyes glassy, still yearning as he did 3 decades ago. Where it wooed her then, today his youthful enthusiasm sets her teeth on edge. She wants to stand and scream into the petal-shaped reflectors that droop off the ceiling to deflect the sound. This is what she knows. You can love a piece of music. You can hum every note, sing it backways and front. But you can never get inside of that song, no matter how well you think you know it. You cannot be the music. 6 days out from the party. Snatches of the cardboard box's contents come to her at the most inopportune moments. When she buys the meat for dinner, beef tenderloin. When she grapevines in Zumba, harder ladies, push it. When her tongue licks across the envelope scene for Janie's birthday card. Is this how she does it? Thinks Win. In the past 24 hours, everything in her life has taken on a purple haze, an erotic taint. When she closes her eyes, she visualizes George's bare, square bottom bent over a faceless female. Who is this woman who signs herself me? Arrogant, writes far too frequently of their fine romance and references Billie Holiday like an old friend. While George plays golf, Winnie packs rarely used kitchen contents into boxes. Their only Billie Holiday album, a best-of compilation, plays in the background. She takes a Royal Doulton dinner plate with the fleur-de-lis pattern, a wedding gift from Auntie Ray, to swaddle it in newspaper. Holiday's voice is smooth as porcelain. It slides and swoops. But there's sex in it too. The twang, the way she's always a second off the beat. It's a slow, sweaty afternoon in bed, salty bodies tangled in sheets, and that voice drifting like a fluky breeze. Leaning against the bench, Winnie's grip on the plate loosens. Then she lets go altogether and watches it smash to the floor like a galactic big bang, shooting out a million sharp-edged stars. 5 days out from the party. She doesn't like the way the removalist walks about the house and judges her goods. You've got a lot of stuff, says Ahmed. We've been here for 30 years. The kids have finally gone. Downsizing, eh? Winnie hates that word, like they are a nest of Russian dolls getting ever smaller. Yes, their nest has emptied, but what that gives them is permission to fly, travel overseas, go cruising for half the year. Life would enlarge, not diminish. That's what George said. Ahmed takes a pen from behind his ear and scribbles some notes. Do you have children? Says Winnie. 4. 2 boys, 2 girls, all under 8. The baby is 6 months. He holds out his phone and the faces of 4 dark-haired, dark-eyed cherubs beam off the screen. "They're lovely," says Winnie. "Enjoy them while you can. Before you blink, they'll be all grown up." She curls her toes. God, she'd hated that same advice when her kids were little. What's enjoyable about being stuck at home while your husband gets to live and work in the world? It's so quiet here. Ahmed puts the phone back in his pocket and his face returns to business. Or is it another kind of gravity? The glimpse into his own small and silent future. 4 days out from the party. At the bakery, the shop assistant asks what she'd like written on the white chocolate mud cake slab. It's big enough to feed their 60 guests with a generous wedge and therefore offers plenty of scope for an elaborate message. So far, nothing has come to Winnie's mind except for the unprintable. "Here's to us, 30 years of lying and still going strong. Happy anniversary, you cheating scumbag." And her personal favourite, "I hope you choke on this cake and die." She imagines her bewildered friends and family trying to swallow the rich buttercream. She can't do that to them, or herself, or the children. He still loves her. That's what she can't get past. Theirs is a happy marriage. The prostate cancer had made the sex less spontaneous, but it still happened. They rarely argued, they still laughed at the same things. Sure, there'd been those years when the kids were young, the business still taking off, when the intimacy had diminished, but that was normal. It was the bridge in the song of their marriage, a shifting period to get them from one verse to the next. Now they were back in a rousing chorus. Or so she'd thought. The shop assistant shifts her weight, bored. I'm sorry," says Winnie. "What do people normally get for a wedding anniversary?" "I don't know. Happy 30th anniversary, I guess. Well, nothing. Up to you." "I think, let's go with plain. No words." 3 days out from the party. Janie has come around to show her the digital wedding collage. "Look at how young you two were, and your hair's so 80s. "It was 1992, if you don't mind," says Winnie, "and I was 30. You married younger than me." Winnie hates revisionist histories, but she can see that Janie is too busy marinating in nostalgia to notice her mother's irritation. "Check out Dad's suit. What was he thinking?" Mother and daughter sit shoulder to shoulder at the laptop, and one image melts into another. Taffeta, baby's breath and tulle for Winnie, a baby blue suit for George. Winnie's father wasn't a fan, and not just of the suit. Ronnie Waits, her footy-loving, Saturday-punting, lifelong car mechanic father, had a habit of watching his new son-in-law with the wide-eyed curiosity of a visitor to the zoo. Ron was intrigued by George's bursts of flamboyance, but it confounded him to think they were of the same species called man. Fine with Winnie, she wanted someone different, and her father's confusion was proof she'd found it. Janie touches her arm. "Mum, are you okay? You seem a bit, a bit distracted. Was at the party. Is Dad okay? He's not sick again." "We're seeing the doctor on Friday, just to check up." "You'd tell me if something was wrong," Janie frowns. "I'd rather know the truth." "Everything's fine, darling. Just party nerves, I think. You know how I get." "Have you written your speech?" "Not yet. I'm not sure I'll speak. I can't think of what to say." Janie smiles and puts an arm around Winnie's shoulders. "You'll find the right words." 2 days out from the party. No cancer on the scans, PSA levels undetectable. From our point of view, everything is clear. From behind an antique writing desk, the doctor peers over his glasses. "But tell me about things on the home front. Urinary control back, sexual function?" "A few hiccups here and there, but nothing we can't manage." George smiles and takes Winnie's hand. "I've got a terrific nurse here, the Kegel Commandant, I call her. Makes me do the exercises every day." The doctor's expression is inscrutable. "Keep that up, it'll help in the long run." He sends them on their way with a bill for $325 and a fresh Viagra prescription that George folds and places in his top pocket. On the way to the car, he whistles a tune that Winnie discerns as strange fruit. On the busy city footpath, she stops. "That song? Must you?" George turns. Office workers rush past them. "What? It's one of Holiday's best." "It's so macabre." "It's powerful." "It's sad as what it is, all those lives, the cruelty, it's awful." She takes a tissue from her handbag and tries to bury her grief in the fibres. "Oh, honey, oh no, I didn't know, I'm sorry, come here." He wraps her in his arms. Over the years, his warm and generous hugs have been a balm to her. But today, standing on the street as life unfolds around them, she finds herself gasping for breath. The day before the party. Maria sips her champers and glances about the spotless kitchen. "You're all prepared then?" "About as ready as I can be." Winnie pulls spinach triangles from the oven, a small portion of the larger batch she's prepared for the anniversary party tomorrow. "Seeing us is probably the last thing you need right now, but when Ivan gets an idea..." "Oh, you're more than welcome. Honestly, it's not a bother," says Winnie. Seeing their oldest friends is the last thing Winnie wants, but Maria's husband is a force of nature. Ivan wanted to give them their anniversary gift privately before the party. How could Winnie possibly say no? In the lounge room, the old schoolmates sit on the couch, heads inclined and deep in conversation that breaks when the women enter the room. George raises his champagne flute. "I was just telling Ivan the good news. Officially cancer-free." Ivan gives a mock grimace. "Stuck with this one for a few more decades, eh? Just our luck." "I'll drink to that." Maria takes a large gulp. "You going to open it then?" She gestures towards the slim, square gift on the table. "I'll give you a hint." Ivan sits up on the couch. "It's not pearls." Thank goodness for that," mutters George, tearing at the silver wrapping. "I wouldn't mind a nice strand of pearls." Maria reaches for another triangle. "But Ivan said you'd like this more." She takes a bite and catches the crumbs under her chin. "I've never seen a man so determined to get the right gift for a couple. And I know you all love your jazz," she shrugs. "Just a jumbled lot of notes to me, but what do I know?" "Nothing, darling. You know nothing, but I still love you." Ivan tips his flute in her direction. Oh my! George has removed the wrapping and stands the gift on his knee. It's an album, that much Winnie can tell, and an old one, judging by the tatty edges. "Well, don't keep us in suspense. Which one is it?" she says. "It's an extremely rare Billie Holiday, one I've wanted for years." George speaks with wonder and wheels the record around to reveal the longed-for treasure. Winnie's eyes rove over the title, Songs for Distingué Lovers. In other words, songs for distinguished lovers. Ivan, she thinks. It's Ivan. Winnie is a ghost at her own anniversary party, floating, untethered, bloodless. She accepts kisses and hugs without feeling a single touch. After lunch, George makes a speech about his wonderful marriage, and the jazz quartet plays a moody version of Happy Birthday. The old photos spool on the wall. Like we're dead, thinks Winnie. Together, she and George blow out the 30 candles, a flotilla of flame on the pure white sea of her cake. It takes only a single elongated breath to extinguish them all. How stupidly easy it is to snuff out something so bright and alive. The knife slices the wordless slab with ease, and George clinks a spoon against his champagne glass to dull the rapturous applause. The silence is a caesura, the briefest pause that allows the trumpeter to take a breath and play once more. In Winnie's chest, candle smoke mingles with oxygen, mixes with the paper of those letters, sets fire to the shoebox. Now, my wife said she wouldn't speak today, but I think we'd all like to hear her side of the story. He turns to her. The floor is yours, darling. Winnie steps forward. Her heart beats staccato. Her breath goes ragtime. But now she knows the song she's going to sing. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Literary Bites. If you did, I'd love it if you could leave a rating or a review, or maybe you could share the link with a friend. Thanks again for listening.